They say money can't buy happiness. But what if it could buy freedom? My name is Ava, and I was tired. Tired of scraping by. Tired of counting loose change at the grocery store. Tired of watching wealthy women glide past me in designer heels while I poured their coffee for minimum wage. I wasn't lazy. I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3. But no matter how hard I pushed myself, my bank account was always on the verge of empty. Rent, bills, food. Everything drained my money before I even had a chance to enjoy it. It felt like I was trapped in a never-ending race I was destined to lose. I grew up in a forgotten little town where dreams were just bedtime stories people told to make life seem less cruel. My mother worked herself to exhaustion, yet we still struggled. I used to believe that if I worked hard enough, life would reward me. But after moving to the city at 18, I learned the bitter truth. Hard work doesn't make you rich. Connections do. And I had none. I hopped from job to job, waitressing, receptionist work, retail. The workplaces changed, but my reality didn't. I lived in a cramped apartment with peeling paint and a heater that rattled more than it warmed. Instant noodles were a regular meal, and when my shoes wore out, I told myself it didn't matter. But it did. Because every day I saw women my age living the life I longed for. Luxury cars, fine dining, designer shopping sprees, weekend getaways. I wasn't jealous, I was confused. How did they afford it? Then one night I found out. 2 women walked into the upscale restaurant where I worked. They were stunning. Flawless makeup, expensive dresses, an air of effortless confidence. I served them drinks, and as I cleared a nearby table, I couldn't help but overhear their conversation. They spoke about men who funded their vacations, paid their rent, and stocked their closets with couture. "It's not love," one of them laughed, swirling the wine in her glass. "It's business." I didn't fully understand what she meant, but her words clung to me. That night, as I wiped down tables, exhausted and disheartened, something clicked in my mind. Maybe there was another way. Maybe struggling wasn't my only option. A week later I met him. His name was Daniel. Older, sophisticated, and wealthy. Confident, the kind of man who never checked price tags. He walked into the restaurant one evening, dressed in an expensive suit. His watch likely worth more than my yearly rent. When I poured his drink, he smiled, genuinely, and asked me questions as if he actually cared about my answers. Most men barely noticed the waitress, but Daniel did. When he left, he placed a $500 tip on the table, more than I made in 2 weeks. Beside it, his business card. I stared at that card for hours. I knew what it meant. I wasn't naive. But I was tired. Tired of struggling. Tired of worrying. Tired of waiting for life to get better. That money could cover my rent, buy me groceries. Maybe even let me breathe for once. So I called him. Daniel took me to a 5-star restaurant, the kind I had only seen in magazines. He ordered a bottle of wine that cost more than my paycheck. He told me I was beautiful, special, different. He made me feel important. And then he made me an offer. "Spend the night with me, and I'll take care of you." I wanted to say no. I should have said no. But then I thought about my tiny apartment with the broken heater. About the bills piling up. About the endless cycle of working hard for nothing. One night. That's all it was. One night, and I could finally catch a break. So I said yes. The next morning, I woke up in silk sheets. A designer handbag sat on the table. An envelope of cash beside it. I told myself it was a one-time thing. Mistake. But then Daniel introduced me to his friends. Men just like him, wealthy, powerful, influential. And they were willing to pay for my time. One dinner turned into 2. One night turned into a lifestyle. They took me to luxury hotels, dressed me in couture, and showered me with gifts. I convinced myself this wasn't wrong. I wasn't standing on a street corner. Had standards. I was in control. Or at least, that's what I told myself. First, it felt like I had finally won. No more worrying about rent. No more counting pennies at the grocery store. I had everything I once dreamed of. Designer clothes, expensive perfume, a luxury apartment with a breathtaking city view. My life looked perfect from the outside. I traveled to places I never thought I'd see, dined in restaurants where celebrities ate, drank the finest champagne. It felt like I had escaped the struggle. But there was a cost. The money was addictive. Once I saw how easy it was to make thousands in a single night, regular jobs seemed pointless. Why work for minimum wage when I could make more in a few hours? So I stopped working. My life revolved around men now. Some wanted dinner and conversation. Others wanted more. I told myself I was still in control. I chose who I spent time with. I set the rules. But the truth was, I was the one being chosen. Not all men were kind. Some treated me like a prize, showing me off to their friends. Others saw me as an object they had paid for, something they could use however they wanted. There were nights when I left a hotel room feeling empty and disgusted, scrubbing my skin in the shower as if I could wash away the shame. But I told myself it didn't matter. I had what I wanted: money, comfort, luxury. That was the price I had to pay, right? Then something changed. One night I met a man named Jake. He wasn't like the others. He didn't wear a suit or drive a sports car. He was simple, kind, real. He made me laugh in a way I hadn't in years. He treated me like a person, not a prize. And for the first time in a long time I felt something genuine. But there was one problem. My life was built on secrets. I told him I worked in marketing, made up stories about business meetings and late-night deadlines. But deep down I knew I was lying, to him and to myself. If he found out the truth, would he still look at me the same way? Or would he see me like all the others did? Just another woman with a price tag. I wanted to leave this life behind. But the money, the security made it so hard. I wasn't sure if I was strong enough to walk away. One evening, as I sat across from Jake at dinner, he asked me a simple question. What do you really do for a living? My heart stopped. I opened my mouth to lie, but something in his eyes made me hesitate. He already knew something wasn't right. I wanted to tell him everything. That I was tired. That I wanted out. That I wished I had met him before I lost myself. But I didn't. 'Cause I was scared. Scared of losing him. Scared of losing the life I had built. Scared of starting over. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, surrounded by the things I once thought would make me happy. The expensive bags, the jewelry, the silk sheets. They were supposed to be proof that I had made it. But none of them could fill the emptiness inside me. Maybe I could leave. Maybe I could walk away from this life. Find a real job. Start over. But was I ready to give up the money? The security? Was I ready to struggle again? I don't know how my story will end. Maybe one day, I'll have the courage to walk away. Maybe I'll find a way to start fresh. Or maybe I'll keep chasing the illusion of happiness, drowning in gold but never truly free. What would you choose, love or money?